Hello and welcome to Confessionals and Congressionals. My name is Lauren.
I'm Cassie.
And today's our Valley recap, and we're also going to get into Love Island. And Cassie just told me that she has something intense to tell me about Love Island.
I do.
And so go ahead, Cass. What is going on? I'm
So,
on the edge of my seat.
are you ready? You're going to be like, this is way too depressing. So, just like trigger warning if you don't want to hear anything about suicide or anything like that, skip ahead like 5-10 minutes, 5 minutes. So you and we both usually skip that episode they do where it's just like interviews,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So, because of that, I didn't see the
After
one.
Sun.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't see the latest one of that, but apparently during that episode, Ariana had kind of said we need to talk about the cyberbullying and this needs to
Yeah.
stop. And so then last night when we were watching the episode, I saw that in the middle of the episode there was this card that appeared that was about the same thing. That was like, we did you see it?
No.
No. So during the episode that aired last night, there was a moment where this card came up and hold on, let me pull it right back up. Okay. And it said, the key word in Love Island is love. We love our fans. We love our islanders. We don't love cyberbullying, harassment, or hate. Okay. And so when I saw that, I was like, have I ever seen this before? Is this something that's on the show that I've missed a bunch of times? So I Googled it and no, it's not. This is a first. And that's when I found out about what Ariana had said on Saturday. There's been a lot of cyberbullying and doxing, especially with Huda, including like finding her baby daddy, making memes about her 4-year-old daughter, just some really ugly things. And so then I'm like reading about this, and I'm reading like one of the reasons that they're addressing this is that there's been 3 suicides from the show over the years. Yeah. 2 were contestants that ultimately committed suicide. And then there were the original host from the UK Love Island also did. And all of them had been victims of a lot of cyberbullying and negative comments and had talked about what it was like seeing the way that people talk about them and judge them. And I'm telling you, Lauren, I like spiraled in sadness over this because I was thinking when I watched last night, I got emotional when when one of the contestants had to leave, was voted off or whatever, and the way the women cried. And I thought one of the things I love about this show is I love seeing how the women rally for each other.
100%.
You
Yeah.
know, like I'm like, this is one of my favorite. This isn't a
They
show
were
I would.
crying like she died.
Yes. Yes. This isn't a show I would generally watch. And yet, this part of it, I absolutely love. And then I was going to tell you too that they've been doing watch parties at sports bars. And there's just like hundreds of women. There's a whole bunch around you. That was like the article I saw was like, where to go watch it in Charlotte. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the article. And so you see these like all these women there, some of them that don't even know each other until that night, right? They're going alone and they're making friends. And I just think, I guess what I want to say is like, I think we have fun and we like to talk about some of these people. But I certainly hope that and I know we don't, like, we're not here to like body shame anybody or rip apart somebody's humanity. And I just hope that people can think about that. Like, if you wouldn't say this to your sister or want it said about her, then maybe just think about it. And I also think when you see these really shitty comments, don't engage with them. Don't even,
Yeah.
not even to tell them that they're wrong, because it just gets more and more attention,
Yeah.
you know? So I was really disappointed to hear that that's been going on.
Yeah, that is really disappointing. It's not surprising at all. When I used to watch The Bachelor, that was something that they didn't address as well as they should have. It was especially difficult for the contestants of color on The Bachelor because The Bachelor franchise's viewership is mostly like white conservative people. And so the people of color like really especially got a lot of hate and very very like it was outwardly racist kind of stuff. Go back to where you came from, like that kind of thing. And they were American, obviously. Not obviously, but they're American. They're American. They just have like a different color skin. But either way, that's not okay to say to somebody. And I'm with you. That's a really that's really something we should keep in mind. Hopefully, the things we say don't, like, I want to be able to have commentary about the show without it being considered bullying, because we're not saying this to them. I would never write anything that we say on here on their Instagram or anything like that. That is such unhinged behavior. And I've noticed a lot of that kind of behavior with the people following the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively thing and the Justin Baldoni like support subreddit. And I know Reddit is toxic. Okay. This particular subreddit, they'll be like, Blake the Snake Lively, like blah blah blah. They make like these little nicknames like Trump makes for people, and I just can't stand it. I think it's like the lowest form of insulting someone. At least be smart.
Yes. And honestly, like, if your big claim to fame is that like 1,000 people loved your really shitty mean comment, you're an asshole.
Totally. Yeah. And it actually reminds me of the TikToks I've been making about like Jax's diagnosis and stuff, and the fact that he might have potentially seen that and what that feels like for them, and it's like, it's interesting to have these conversations, and it's interesting to reflect on, based on what we see in an edit, what's going on with somebody. We all wonder, like, what is the profile going on here? What is this like archetype of behavior? I've seen this before. Why are they acting this way? That's interesting. But it's like, I feel like the caveat of, I don't actually know these people. I've never met them in real life. This is, whoa, we got a thunderstorm, people. So if you heard that, that caveat should be inherent in these types of conversations. But just to remind everyone, these are edited TV shows. We don't know these people. We have no idea what they're like in real life. We're basing this off of an edit, and we're allowed to be critical of somebody's behavior.
Yep.
I think that that's okay. Just knowing that, like, we're not going after them, bullying them. I'm sure people don't like me, and as long as they say it behind my back.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. And I think like we're critical of behavior, but we're not coming for somebody's humanity. And I also think there's like this trend to go after the person that you could probably bet has the lowest self-esteem of the group.
Yeah.
And I find it even more, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? That's such a bully thing to do, to know somebody is a little bit weaker and decide that's the one. Because you don't want to say it about the one that'll come right back to you,
I mean, it's just that, like, they are also, people with very high self-esteem aren't bullying people.
Right.
And so when you watch somebody on TV that reminds you of the parts of yourself that you hate about yourself, it is very triggering.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, so I think that people are probably triggered, to use a phrase that we hear all the time. I'm triggered by seeing somebody behave in ways that they maybe have behaved in the past and aren't proud of, or parts of themselves that they don't like, and all that kind of stuff. With that said, Jax is a terrible person.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, I mean, I don't think that like we're damaging his ego in saying that.
Or his reputation.
Right.
He is an abuser.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. By the way, I've had a change of heart. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's my Love Island sad part. We're done with the sad part. Let's just, we can be critical but kind.
Yeah, I think that's a good reminder for everyone. All of us, for sure. So let's get into it. Okay, so off the rip, I have some thoughts about this Love Island episode. I just finished watching it, literally just before we got on here. And I cannot wait for these little dorks to see the 6'5" male bombshells that these girls got in their Casa Amor villa.
Yeah. What did you think? Like, I was really devastated. And I turned it on last night and I fell asleep. And so this morning, my husband was like, "Did you watch the new Love Island?" And I said, "Well, I put it on when I was going to bed," because he stays up later than me. I said, "I put it on when I was going to bed, and I fell asleep, so I got to finish it this morning." And he said, "I don't think you're going to be happy."
Wait, what are you devastated about?
Who left?
Okay, but did you see the very last part?
I just thought that they were like, "Hurry up, we're leaving."
No. There's something coming.
Oh.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
Oh. Okay.
But who are you sad about? Are you sad about Nick?
No, I was sad about
Alandria.
Say it again.
Alandria.
Alandria. I can blame it on my deafness. I don't know what you're going to say.
No, I don't have an excuse. I think we're going to call her Ola. I think that's what they call her sometimes. But
we'll go with that. Yeah. I was really upset by that. Like, I love her and Taylor together. Like, I think that is like, what? You don't?
That's a hot take.
That is her cowboy. She loves him.
No. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But I did notice that he seems to be more like physically into some other people. Like, I don't buy the slow burn thing for him. For her, she's very guarded.
Yeah.
She's very guarded with everyone she talks to.
Yeah.
And with the girls. And she didn't cry on the way out. And then she said that she's always had to be tough. And so to me, I'm like, okay, so that explains the guardedness, that explains the slow burn, that explains the not wanting to jump into things. I totally get that. I mean, that's not why we're on Love Island, but I get that. I think some context that you're missing, though, is that the previous season of Love Island USA was such a phenomenon that the people, every single one of those people became so famous. And the people who became the most famous were the people who matched up day one. And despite Casa Amor, despite all of the things that they had to overcome, they overcame it and they ended up together at the end.
Yeah.
And those people became incredibly famous. They're like, they made so much money on brand deals. They are like, it's hard to overstate how big of a deal it was. And so I think that a lot of those guys that are in the first cohort of guys came in with the idea that like, I want to be that famous. So I'm going to try to stick with the girl from day one because I know that that's what the audience likes. I think that a lot of those guys are playing a game, including Taylor.
I think a lot of those guys are playing a game, but I don't think Taylor is. I think he marries the slow burn and he sleeps with the ones that are, that's what I see in him. That's the impression I get. I'm sticking to it for right now.
I love it.
They're going to find each other again. It's all going to work out.
I love it. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So Taylor does seem to be connecting, though, with the girl that he met in there and seems to be excited about her. It really didn't occur to me until towards the end when they were doing the ceremony that, like, some of the people's matches are going to go home and they're not going to know they went home because this isn't how the last season went.
Right.
And so Sierra's in here pining about Nick, pining over Nick and stuff. And it's like, girlfriend. He not into it.
I'm telling you, there was a moment where I thought Ace was going to go and my heart was so happy.
I know.
I was like, oh my God, yeah, nobody stand up. Nobody stand up. And then, of course, someone did. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. And it's so interesting because they've all seen the whole season so far, so they know.
Yes, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
He's not, so...
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't think he is either. Some of my other random thoughts are Austin took a picture with a lizard named Ernesto. I thought that was very adorable. It made me like him more. I wouldn't date Austin. He's not the type of person that I would be attracted to or find alluring, but I do think he's funny and a fun hang.
Yeah. Yeah.
TJ sucks. And him and Vanna are meant for each other because she sucks too.
Which one is she?
She's the one that looks like she's old. No, but
she's 21, right?
Yeah.
Or she says she's 21. Yeah, that's. I have you ever seen Saw?
Yes, I actually have seen Saw.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
So TJ, it's come out that TJ is like a red pillar conservative, like Trumper. So
no.
Yeah. So, and I feel like she probably is too. So they're probably meant for each other.
Yeah.
And I wrote, of course, he likes a blonde. He is not. He's one of the people that the white people there.
What's wrong with the blondes?
No. He's one of the white people there that has zero interest in dating somebody of color. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you see those people and you're like, yeah, he's not into any of those girls. And one of the things I love about Love Island is how diverse it is. In fact, white people are the minority on it. And I love that about it. I think it's like one of the few TV shows that we get to watch where we see like a vast array of different types of people on it.
Well, and it wasn't like that for many years. Like, because I was reading all these articles about, what we talked about earlier. And you know how I am. I'm like, well, now I got to know everything. So, yeah, it wasn't. It was very highly criticized for how non-diverse it was. And in their early seasons, they would even try to manipulate the lighting to make people look darker.
No effing way.
I swear to God.
On US or UK?
UK.
Okay, because that doesn't surprise me as much. I feel like the UK is like low key even more racist than we are.
Maybe. I don't know.
They're racist about different things.
Yeah, we're kind of like, I mean, hitting it out of the park right now. So I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then eventually they decided to actually add some diversity. And I agree. Like when I started watching it, I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Like right away, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe this isn't just a bunch of blonde white women.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me. So Netflix also does a pretty good job at this on their reality TV shows. They do a good job at casting diversity. And did you ever watch The Circle?
No.
First of all, it's so fun.
Okay.
It's like cheesy at first, but it's like Love Island. It's like cheesy at first and you kind of have to like get into it. But then it's really fun, but it's a strategy game. Like you are there to win. Anyway, there was a girl on The Circle who was deaf and she had her interpreter with her.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so on The Circle, you don't ever see anybody in real life until the end. You live in your own apartment and all of your conversations with people are like over social media, aka like in The Circle.
Okay. I remember my sister tried to talk me into watching this. So I'm familiar. Okay,
we should all watch the next season that comes out. But yeah, there was a girl that was deaf and she brought her interpreter and they were so fun. And it was like, yes, like the representation on this show is so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, just a kind of a tangent.
I like it.
Okay. Protect Amaya Papaya at all costs.
Yeah. I love her.
She's so sweet. I can't believe that people aren't into her. I think that like now she's been made self-conscious, which I would be exactly the same. Ace, that little mother effer, has made her feel self-conscious. And now she has to go around explaining herself to everyone like, girl, you're from Honduras. You're Latina. Like, we get it, girlfriend. Like, do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to see her step back into her power. And I think when she's off the show and she sees how loved she is, it's going to be so different. So don't worry, Amaya, you're going to have plenty of guys.
Yeah, totally. We love that. And then let's see. Oh, Coco says, I can tell Ace has a hard exterior, but has a soft and squishy on the inside. And honey, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Anybody who's like that, they're actually a dick.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're being a little codependent.
You're not going to change him.
No.
And
when he's mean to a server or a bartender one day and you brush it off, Brittany said that that's one of the things that she ignored about Jax, that she is going to pay attention to her in her next relationship.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, one of the things I do love about the diversity on this show is the different type of styles we get to see. Like not only the fun hairstyles, but all the little things that they have in their hair. Like Sierra wears little things in her hair, and so does Shelly, I think.
Yeah.
And just like really fun style. If it was all white people, you know that beach would be full of neutrals.
Yes, but like part of it, I'm sure, is like we only see an hour and a half of 2 days or a day, right? How bored are they sometimes?
For sure.
Like I would for real be like, braid my hair and do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we have to do something.
Yeah, for sure. I know they're probably so bored. And they're like, somebody create some drama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like go make out with him so I can be mad at you.
Yes, please God.
Yeah. And then I just said, you know, these guys, they're crying a lot about their bro leaving. Yeah. And I haven't seen this much emotion about a single one of these girls that they're seeing.
No. I don't think, but I don't think
except Hannah.
Right. Hannah. I don't think anyone is left yet that was like that's been there from the beginning, that everybody connected with. And so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that those experiences are really, really intense. I obviously haven't done anything like that, but one of the things I did in my 20s is I worked for a travel company. That's why I lived in like Mexico and stuff.
Okay.
And it was called Remote Year. And so what it was like a travel company where you got together with like a cohort of like 30 to 40 to 50 other people, and you guys traveled the world together. So you went to a different city every month for a year, and like remote year would find apartments and co-working and all of that. So it's people that could already work remotely, but it was before COVID, unfortunately. So not that many people could work remotely. If it would
Right.
have happened now, they would have succeeded, but they unfortunately didn't. But the people that owned it were assholes. Anyway, so me and 30 other people in their early 50s flew to Croatia and all met for the first time. They paid us nothing,
Oh my
like
God.
literally nothing, but they paid for our travel.
There you
And
go.
so we all met, and it was super intense. It was like we all got to know each other so fast. Relationships coupled up so fast. There were best friends so fast. And like a lot of my best friends today are friends that I met doing remote year.
Yeah.
So I know that those experiences are really intense, and that when you like all get together in one place and it's a once in a lifetime experience and you're all like, we have to live this to the fullest, emotions run really high. But it is funny to watch all the guys cry when Nick leaves.
Well, and like they're not talking to anybody in the outside world. It's like
Right.
this is
Right.
it. And I think Nick did a good job like making them think that he was like the brother that's looking out for you and just wants to,
Yep.
like I think he did a really good job playing that up. And so I could see them missing him.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so my only last comment, I think, and I wrote a lot of notes, but I'll just say this. Well, Taylor said he misses his family and his horse.
Oh, see? You see? He's made for her.
And then the only other thing is Ace said something like that he wants Taylor to be happy and be his natural self, no matter who that's with. And I think that what makes Ace such a effective manipulator of the situation is that he plants little seeds. He doesn't say what he wants people to do. He plants these little seeds in their head, and then they're thinking about it. Now Taylor's walking around thinking like, wait, who do I feel most natural with?
Yeah.
Who do I feel most comfortable with? Which is good advice, but also feeds Ace's narrative.
Right. Not from Ace. Don't listen to anything Ace says.
Yeah.
Do the
Okay.
opposite.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead. All right. So with that, shall
Is
we get
that
into the wait, do you have thoughts?
I have one. Well, I'm not on Love Island.
Okay.
But speaking of cowboys,
Right. You have a recommendation to make.
I do. Season 2 is coming out next week, and now I'm excited. I started watching the McBee Dynasty, Real American Cowboys, and I now understand, as my husband stares at me, why men watched Baywatch. I get it. I understand, because that is how I am watching this show.
Travis, cover your ears.
Exactly. It is phenomenal. And it's got drama and, just like cowboys, obviously, but it's all about one family. And
and like the passing down of the ranch.
Yeah, it's a dad and his, I think, 4 sons. And the dad is, I think the mom and the dad divorced just like a few years ago. So they were married for a long time. And it seems like that divorce changed his perspective, and he really doesn't want any of his boys to get married or have kids, and they just come out drinking with me and we'll meet women.
Oh God, that stresses me out, Cass. I don't think I can watch that.
Well, all of the guys are in relationships, and one of my favorite, Jesse, he proposed to his girlfriend at the end of season 1, and he's so cute, and I just love all of them.
How many seasons are there?
There's only been 1 season.
Oh, okay. So spoiler alert.
Sorry. Should we edit that out? I mean, you could see it coming. There's only been 1 season. So season 2 comes out next week. And there was a scene towards the end where something felt a little funny with you could hear production being like, did she turn her mic off? And the dad had turned his off. And so they're filming him through a window. Anyways, all that to say, it doesn't seem like the dad is very much a part of season 2 because he is waiting to be sentenced and is looking at up to 30 years in prison for fraud. Yeah.
The tea.
I know.
Sounds like a great guy.
Well, his sons are fantastic. All right. And I guess one of his boys, Stephen Jr., who I sent you some photos of.
Right.
He was on Joe Millionaire. I've never saw it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've heard of that show.
Okay, so he won that.
I heard it was really good.
He won that. And the chick that he finished with is like the chick that he's on and off with all of season one.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not a huge fan of her because the other guys have
'Cause
girlfriends.
she's a little slut.
Well, I'm telling you, the other guys have girlfriends that are clearly cowgirls. Like they understand like working on the ranch and they know how
Yeah.
to ride a horse and she looks like she just stepped off the beach in Huntington Beach and doesn't want to get her hands dirty. So I'm like, you don't belong.
You feel like they don't mesh well is all.
Right.
Right. It's not like jealousy or anything.
Yeah, and if you watch it on Peacock, they added 3 episodes to the end of season 1 that is a rewatch, and it's Brittany and Kristen watching the show and giving commentary.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Cute.
It's cute, like, because you can tell Brittany's like, is he single?
Sure. Brittany,
yeah.
That would be a good fit for Brit.
I think so. We need to make that happen. So that's you guys.
Yeah,
you gotta
she's
watch
like
it.
into basketball players, and I'm like, honey, don't go down that road. It's not going to end well for you.
No, let's get you a cowboy.
Yeah. A cowboy with a dysfunctional family and a lot of money coming down the pipe.
A lot of money. I mean, look how much land she'd have for all the dogs she wants. I mean, I think it could be good.
Did you hear that the adoption agency that she went through was a scam?
No.
Oh my gosh.
For the dog?
Yeah. Before we get started and all of that, we're going to do our Valley recap. I definitely want to get into that.
Okay.
Good rec, by the way. If I get some time, I'll watch. But before we get started, please, if you're enjoying this episode, if you like our content, share it with a friend. Like it, subscribe, follow whatever you're watching or listening on. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. I think we're on all the other platforms. And we're just a small little production here. It's just the 2 of us. We started this on a whim. We wanted something fun to do that felt productive to society, but also fun. We would love your support. So that's my plea.
And we want you to find us on social media. Tell us what the next show is that we need to watch. Like we're looking for the one that we want to recap every week. Because we only have a few more of the Valley. So what should be the next thing that we watch? We're kind of thinking about maybe rewatching an old reality show and then having a current one that we're with every week.
Right. And we're thinking the challenge for our current one.
That's what we're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And we can't wait for Traders to come out. We'll definitely do that. We'll definitely do Traders. Yeah. So just let us know. And please, and also like, let us know if you're listening and if you like it. Just like we don't have that much feedback coming in. So we don't know if people are listening and if they like it. So we would just love to hear from any of you guys that are listening.
That sounds good. And I think people love a good cliffhanger. So I have a surprise for you, Lauren, but I'm not going to tell you till the next episode.
Okay, well, people might like that cliffhanger, but I don't like that cliffhanger.
You're gonna like it. You were having a down day, and I have something to make you feel better.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, I was crying yesterday, which reminds me that we actually have one more piece of good news, and that's political news, and then we'll get into Valley. And the good political news, despite everything that's going on in this godforsaken hellhole that we live in, just kidding, we're trying to stay positive and hopeful, is that the New York City primary mayoral race has gone down, and it's gone down nasty. And Cuomo is out, at least for now. He could run independent, allegedly, but for now, Mamdami, the Democratic, socialist, progressive candidate, has won. The candidate who did not take money from people with vested interests in what he did. The candidate who didn't take money from millionaires and billionaires who are giving that money so that you don't tax them. The candidate who's going to improve New York City for the working class has won the primary. So he's pretty much guaranteed the win unless an independent wins over him. And the only two independents that are going to run that might win over him are both awful people with lots of allegations against them. And so hopefully New York City doesn't vote for that.
Yeah, I certainly hope not. And I think it's great. It's awesome news. It's It helps. I think Democrats have been kind of flailing and not sure what to do and what they want it to look like in the midterms, and are progressives too risky? And so this is a really good indicator of where the party can go. So I'm excited.
Me too.
Good news.
It's good news, and we really needed it. So with that, let's get into our Valley recap.
All
Are
right.
you ready?
I am so ready. I have notes.
All right. Let me pull up my notes.
Mine are handwritten.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
All right. The Valley recap, season 2, episode 11, El Coyote Ugly. Let's hit it.
All right.
We open at Luke and Kristen's house. And this is a big episode for them because this is the precursor to the engagement. And Luke is trying his best to keep a secret from Kristen. What's your over-under on whether she knows?
I don't think she knows. I don't think she knows. Now, there does come a point in the episode where I think she got tipped off.
Right. Like, I mean, like, do you think that she knew before the engagement happened that it was going to happen? Like, not knows at this point in the episode, but just at some point before it happened, do you think she knew?
I really want to say no. I really want this to have been a surprise for her, but I also know Kristen.
Yeah, and some people said some things, both subtle and obvious.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
When Zach proposed to me, he literally changed my parents' phone numbers in his phone, the names. Like, he was so secretive. I had zero idea that he was proposing to me. And that's when I really became afraid that that man can keep a secret.
He did it like at a waterfall or something, right?
He did. He did it at a waterfall with my
right.
friends who had visited from New York City. And he changed my parents' names in his phone so that I didn't like accidentally look at his phone. I don't like look at his phone, but we have passwords to each other's phones and we use them sometimes to like look something up. And he didn't want me to happen to see a text from them and be like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
So anyway, Luke isn't the best secret keeper, but honestly, that's okay.
He's trying.
He's trying his best. You can tell that he's never had to be secretive before. Yeah,
I mean, he's dropping like the gecko off to Kyle Chan. Like, he is doing everything. The only thing I wrote from that whole scene was just, God, they're so cute.
They are cute.
I love them together.
And Kristen is continuing to grow on me.
Yay!
Yeah, and I hope that this new era of motherhood treats her well. I hope she's doing okay. The postpartum period can be really hard for some people, and I'm sure that she's doing fine, but I just hope that they're doing okay.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so Luke says in this scene that he's starting to like LA more, not like more, but more kind of a thing. And I just like noticed that they were pouring wine at lunch, and by they, I mean Kristen.
Yeah.
She drinks in every scene, and I think that that's because she drinks every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident that would be correct.
Versus like drinking for the show, but otherwise kind of abstaining, which I think some people do. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. And then she says, this is before she's pregnant, but did you notice that she said, come on, baby girl?
Yeah.
Like, she knew it was a girl.
I know. I thought that was, yeah.
She probably like talked to a psychic who told her that a girl was coming or something.
I don't know. When I was pregnant with my son, I knew it was a boy. I knew it was a boy the day that the pregnancy test came back positive. I don't know. I just was like,
it's a boy.
It's a boy. It's just it's a boy.
Yeah.
So
okay, so then we have Danny and Nia meeting with Zach and Benji for lunch.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the Hawaii trip and all of that. So what were your thoughts about this scene?
I loved Zach saying, Alanis Morissette, I think we have a new lyric for you. Do you know what that was a reference to?
Oh, yeah, because that was my first CD I ever loved.
Okay, good.
Yes, I'm a big Alanis stan.
I was so afraid you were going to be like, I didn't really get that joke. And I was like, we're fucking done, man. I give up.
That joke I get. We're not that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was talking about the irony of, wait, what was it?
It was the irony of the fact that last year Janet disinvited.
That's right.
Right. And yet now here he had to go and invite her on a trip where they really don't want her there either, but they're going to invite her.
Yeah. So they're sitting around at lunch talking about inviting everyone. So like last episode, it wasn't totally clear to me if it was going to be a whole cast trip or not, even though knowing how these shows work, we assumed it would be, but they didn't really say that.
Yeah.
And so, because Danny and Nia are like saying it's their trip because they're covering for Luke,
Right.
because this is like kind of Luke's trip to propose, and which is just so sweet of them, and they're so kind and like sweet. Yeah, and I wrote down like when Nia gets there and she's like, "So we know you know," and Zach looks over at Benji like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm also really loving Zach, and I made a TikTok this week about this, but Zach was on Brittany's podcast again this week. Have
Oh,
you
I don't.
listened?
Yes, I did, because that's how I found out about the dog. But I didn't finish it. I don't think I finished it, but I think I listened to most of it.
Yeah, it was, and I just think that like they make each other more likable. Like they should just co-host the podcast together, I think.
Oh God, that would be so great.
Yeah, I think that they should get together every week. We want to hear whatever is going on in your life. Like,
Wait,
just tell us the sillies. We don't want you to be interviewing people. I don't want that. I don't really care about Brittany's interviews with people
no, because
unless
it's
it's like
always
somebody
like,
else from the Valley. But if it's
right.
another reality TV person, I don't really care. I just want you to have conversations with your friends.
Yeah, nope, that's the pitch. So get it up on TikTok, make Zach see it.
Yeah, totally.
This is what needs to happen. If Brittany and Zach would just be, because his humor and wit with certain things, just chef's kiss.
Yeah, totally. And like, I loved that episode. They were talking about pride and how because of the cuts and because of the current administration, there were a bunch of sponsors that cut out this year and or pulled out this year. And I was thinking about how like this is what privilege looks like, because Brittany doesn't have to think about these things because she's a white girl from the South, but because she has a best friend who's gay, these things are on her radar, and this is how people change their mind from being conservative Republicans to switching over. She probably, I don't know if she would consider herself a progressive or a liberal, probably not, but like when push comes to shove, she cares about the same things that Zach cares about, probably.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was listening to a podcast this weekend, and it was like a former MAGA Republican, and they were talking about like how they had a friend of theirs that just basically said when it came to abortion, like if it's really about life, then how come there's not subsidized daycare? How come there's not, and listed all these things. And she was like, having someone that I respect and care about and love explain it like that just made me step back and go, well, yeah, that's true. If it is about life, then why not? And she's like, and I wouldn't have listened if it would have come from somebody I didn't know and love.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's great. Yeah. Yeah, so I just think they're great together. Anyway, this isn't about Brittany and Zach, but just a little side tangent.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're inviting people to the trip. They kind of call people right away because of course this is reality TV. And so they call Kristen when she's out eating
Yeah.
lunch with Luke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and they talk about how, yeah, that the whole thing of like Janet is going to be invited this year. And it is really wild, actually, to think about the fact that like last year on the big cast trip of the first season of this TV show, freaking Janet, said, yeah, no, Kristen can't come.
Well, I think because she was going to, I think, wanted to be more of the star and push Kristen
100.
out,
Yeah, guess what, Janet? We don't like you.
No.
We don't like you here.
No.
And I also think Janet makes such a good villain because I don't know if she's actually an awful person. She doesn't like, she seems annoying and she seems like petty and like kind of annoying, but I don't think that she's not Jack.
No. Oh God, no. She's not Jack. It's just, it's very obvious that she's trying too hard.
Yes, I would say that.
Yeah. So that can get a little taxing on the nerves, but
yeah,
not in any way where I think she's dangerous.
Yeah, now that I've seen this season of The Valley, my thoughts about when Zach put on his Instagram story that remember the black screen that just said Big Bear location? Like, that's actually hilarious.
Yes.
Now that I know Zach and now that I know Janet.
Yes. Season 1, I was just like, what in the world? But now I'm like, that is just perfect. Yes.
Another thing that Janet totally blew out of proportion and made a big deal out of because she wanted to, when it really didn't matter to her, I don't think. She wasn't actually scared. Get a life.
No, my God, no.
Yeah. One other thing was I wrote down that I wrote down a quote, but now I can't remember who said it, but somebody like knew that their partner was proposing because he was acting more loving towards them that week.
That is what Zach said he noticed that Luke was doing with Kristen.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Zach was like, yeah, I picked up on it. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so intuitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
He really knows his friends.
He does.
Yeah. All right. So next we get to Jesse's house. And this is like the bros hanging out with their life coach sesh. You're shaking your head.
First of all, I have my own thoughts and feelings about life coaches. I find it to usually just be like a money-making gimmick. And a lot of the times they don't even have their own lives together. And there's just like, you just get to call yourself a life coach. You don't have to like have any formal training. Like for all you know, you're making people worse.
Oh, for sure. And like trained therapists who have gone to schools can still make people worse. So somebody who doesn't actually have any regulated training, like everybody should know there's no regulations about life coaching. There are with therapists. There's a lot of things you have to, there's a bar you have to meet in terms of schooling and passing a test and all of that. That's not true with life coaches. Anybody can call themselves one.
And you can say, just like you'll see these people now that say like they're a certified life coach. That's like saying you have a certified service dog. There's no such thing. You can buy it on the internet for $50 if you'd like.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And with therapists, like therapists' job aren't to tell you how to live your life, and coaches' jobs do. Like that's kind of the difference. Like there are a lot of therapists that become life coaches because they kind of resonate with that type of doing therapy where it's like, I'm more like guiding you, I'm helping you with your career, like all that kind of stuff, but through a therapeutic lens.
Yeah.
Which is obviously like different. But anyway, yeah, this fucking guy.
On the after show, Luke says, like, this is just when they're talking about this meeting. And he says, this is just some hoo-ha Southern California stuff. Like what I do is if my friend pisses me off, I say, hey, you pissed me off. And we talk about it and then we're done.
Yeah.
And it was just really funny. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's so like male coded. But I do think like watching this scene, I felt like I can see at the same time as we criticize this, I can see the power in this kind of thing because I think what men sometimes need in order to be vulnerable is a group of other men being vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard for men to be the one-off that's vulnerable because of the way that society treats men when they're vulnerable and all kinds of other systemic issues, not just because they're men. Like men are born that way. They don't come out that way. They're just like socialized to be that way and to shut off from their feelings and from how they feel. It's like a lot of men I don't even think are in touch with how they feel about it, let alone being able to explain it to somebody.
Yeah.
So with all that said, I did think like Jax, I believe that he actually felt very overwhelmed in this moment because this man was trying to get him to be vulnerable and he is not comfortable being vulnerable at all.
Oh, that was the most authentic I've ever seen him be. Like, I mean, in that moment, him struggling with the making eye contact, that just all of that felt very, very, it wasn't him overacting. That felt very real.
Those were real tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it reminded me of when he apologized to Stassi.
Yeah. I think I was so aware of how drunk they were.
Yeah.
When we on Vanderpump when that happened. And this felt for me just because I don't think he was drunk during this scene.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right. I said, I don't think. So yeah, I think it was just like, wow, this is raw. This is raw. This is real. He's feeling this.
Yeah.
And for a minute I did. Yeah. There's a couple times during the episode where I felt for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that when in Vanderpump Rules, when he apologized to Stassi, I felt like that was the only time he ever meant an apology.
Yeah.
And she had to hold his feet to the fire until he broke down. Do you like, I just remember how intense that was. I think Stassi was one of the only people that held him accountable for his behavior and didn't take, fine, I'm sorry, for an answer.
Right. Right.
And I just think that she did that so well. And I think that he loved her. The closest that he's ever been to love, I think, was with Stassi. I think he at least like looked up to her or respected her. Maybe he respected her in a way that he's never respected Brittany.
Yeah, I mean, I think her ambition, her drive, her responsibility, just there were so many things that I think he wanted to be
Yeah.
himself,
Yeah, if I can get a girl like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Jax gets emotional. He's having a hard time making eye contact.
He does. This is another moment where now I'm curious what really happened, but this is when, Jack says he's not going to go on the trip.
Yeah.
He just doesn't think it'll be good for him. Right now.
It probably wasn't his decision.
There you go. That is what I was going to say, is that when he first said it, I'm like, I am really proud of you right now. And then I'm like, I wonder if that was really up to him.
Yeah, maybe Brittany will talk about it in the next podcast or something.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And they flashed back to last year at the party where Jesse like shoves Zach in the hallway.
Oh, I forgot about that until they put it on, and like Zach's face and all of that. And like, but also Zach is so tall. And so when I saw it, I'm like, kind of lucky he didn't punch you, because like Zach, because I'm like, I think he could take you, Jesse, if really push came to shove.
Yeah, like Zach is too docile, but lucky for you. And Jesse went for his throat. And that is scary.
Yeah.
That is really scary.
Yeah.
That is not a good sign.
Well, Jesse's not a good sign.
Yeah. Like, he's not Jax, but he alarms me. Okay, so then Jesse says that Luke has blind loyalty to his girlfriends, and it makes him feel hurt and angry, and it made him want to be aggressive. And listen, I'm going to give Jesse his props. He used a lot of I language here.
Yeah.
I felt this and I felt that. And he learned that from therapy or from his life coach. Somebody told him how to do that, because that is a thing that we teach in therapy. You don't say, you did this to me. You say, I felt hurt when this happened.
Yeah.
With that said, what did you think
of that moment right there?
Yeah.
I thought that Jesse was searching for an easy thing to talk about. That's what I thought. Not
being truly vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
That was what I thought. I'm like, really? The thing that happened over a year ago is the thing that you think, okay.
Yeah. Jason? Is it Jason that brings up Danny's drinking in this?
Yes. Yes, because Danny apologizes to Jason for the things he said about Janet. And that leads Jason to say, like, I'm not quite there with you.
Yeah.
Right. And Danny's kind of like, well, that feels great. I thought maybe. And so then, that's when the drinking comes up. And I thought that the life coach, if this is going to be brought up, and like, I thought he handled it as well as he could, as far as like, what would be the meaning and purpose of hiding how many drinks you're having. It sounds like you would, like, I thought, because once it's out, you can't really act like that's totally normal.
Yeah.
But you're trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Like, so how he worded it I didn't feel like it was going to immediately put somebody on the defense of, I'm not an alcoholic. Like, he wasn't saying that, so I thought he tiptoed the best way he could there.
I think so too. I actually can't decide if I think this guy's a grifter or if he's actually doing good work with these very closed off men.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Or some middle ground between the two. But
Michelle has since went back to him. Like, in the after show, Michelle is seeing him again, and her and Aaron are seeing him together for couples counseling.
Oh my God, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they obviously value, there's something there that they seem to like.
Yeah, he says that. Okay, so first of all, like, Danny seems to have even an admission here.
Yeah.
That he's drinking, that he has secretive drinking behaviors. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not comfortable like labeling anyone like as an alcoholic, like, because I think that can just mean different things for different people. But I do think, if you're hiding it, I'm guessing that you've been called out more than once for how drunk you get. Like, that's what seems to be about with him.
Yeah.
It's
totally.
not that he drinks all the time. It's how drunk you get, and then what you act like when that happens. And so, and you can just tell that he is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
By
He's like,
are
"Can
you
we
hitting the
stop
table?
bringing this up?" Oh,
Are,
I don't know, maybe.
okay. Yeah, but you can just tell that he's very uncomfortable
Yeah,
by any of this. I think being talked about on camera is really, really bothersome to
100%.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that they have a reputation to protect him and Nia in terms of being very religious and like all that kind of stuff, being very goody two shoes, kind of, which I really like them. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I just think that they have a reputation to protect.
Yeah.
It's like if you're like really sweet neighbors who you go to church with, who you think seem to have a perfect life, they're always like really nice and they look really dressed up. And then you find out that, he's a raging alcoholic or something. And you're like, that's crazy.
Well, look, nobody, it's so cliche, but it's so true. Nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
We all have shit. And I think at some point, if you're going to stay on the show, then you're going to have to be willing to go there.
Yeah.
Everybody else has called it out. So it's not going away.
Right. It's not going away. They're forcing the storyline.
Right. And you're actually making it look worse at this point, in my opinion. Like if I was him and I truly didn't have a problem, if that was the truth, I would probably say, yeah, I've definitely like hidden how much I've drank because I know that my behavior is not great with it and it's embarrassing and I'm working on it. And I'm going to really try to not do that anymore and be more honest. And, instead of just like, I'm like,
suffering through the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because it's hard when the person that you like on a reality TV show is getting attacked by the people you don't like.
Yeah.
And so you take the side of the person you like. You're like, Jason, you're being insane right now if you think that I'm going to fall for Danny being in denial about being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
By the way, I was listening to a podcast this week, and then I have to show you a picture. I was listening to a podcast this week, Pop Law Psych or something like that. It's a lawyer and a psychologist that do a podcast together talking about pop culture stuff.
Okay.
And she said that I think either the law firm she used to work at or her friend worked at, whatever, like she somehow knows Jason.
Oh, wow.
Like through work. And
Okay.
she said that at the law firm that he works at, he's known as being like the pretty dumb one. So it's really funny that in this setting, he's the smartest person there.
I saw one that said, everybody feeling bad for Jason. Just remember, he's a workman's comp attorney that represents the employer trying to get out of paying workman's comp. So
someone's got to do it, I guess.
I guess so.
Okay, now during this whole scene, all I could pay attention to was the fact that I thought this dog was like a mannequin.
Oh, there's a dog in the window. Aww.
Yeah, and I was like, it's not moving. Is it like real? And so I had to rewind a few times to find other little shots of it, and I found one where it was laying down. So it's indeed real.
He just wants to be outside with you guys.
I know, seriously. Okay, so moving on. Any other comments about that?
No, I think that was it for that scene. Like I thought, yeah, I didn't hate Jax at the end of that scene, and I started to get a little bit more concerned about Danny.
Yeah.
But I maintain that I don't like Jason right now. I don't care for how he's playing this.
I don't either.
Also, yeah. Why didn't anybody invite Zach?
Oh, yeah.
Why are we leaving out? It seems like there's only one reason why we would leave this particular guy out. I think that's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
He'd probably rather hang out with the girls anyways. It's fine. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. He wouldn't probably rather hang out with the girls. He would definitely rather hang out with the girls. Yeah. He does not want to be around those guys at all.
Yeah.
He hates a lot of those guys, I think. Okay, so then we get to the girls getting together because the guys are together right now. So now the girls are together, and it's Janet, Nia, Sheena, Britt, Michelle, Jasmine, and Kristen.
And did you notice the red vinyl booth?
Yeah, are they back at the same place or some?
No, I think it's a different restaurant.
Okay, well, they're excited about Mexican food, and yeah, it once again looks really good. I'd love some fajitas.
God, now that you say that. All right, go ahead.
I know, sorry about that. So this is when Jasmine really gets on my last final nerve.
Yeah. Yeah. Take a hint, Jasmine.
Like, if I want somebody off my TV screen out of this show, come around to Jax being on, and I want her off because she doesn't add anything to the show.
Wait, now you've said Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine.
Really?
I don't think she adds anything to the show, and I don't like that she's saying she's like missing the point, and I haven't liked the storylines that she's tried to push, and I just don't like I don't like her that much.
Okay.
Is that a hot take?
I mean, yeah, I like her. I mean, I don't love her, but yeah, I like her. I want her to stick around.
Okay, well, fine. She can stay.
I mean, if I have to choose between Jasmine and Janet, I want Jasmine.
I know, but I just think Janet makes an easy villain.
Yeah.
Like, we need somebody to hate. You always need somebody that you don't like on a TV show. Jessie is easy also. Like, people that are doing the most and that are easy to dislike, but that are pushing a storyline forward. I feel like Jasmine just sort of makes situations confusing or ruins them.
Yeah, okay, I could get that. I'm fine with her staying as like friend of.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't need to like deep dive anything else with her.
Yeah, or give her a decent storyline that's not boring. But then when she does this, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl.
Yeah.
Mia's like winking at you across the table. Get a hint.
Yeah. And that was the moment where I'm like, and Kristen knows.
100.
You know.
If she didn't know at this point, she's about to find out.
Yes.
She's starting to put the pieces together.
Yes.
And she's like not going to make a scene because she doesn't. Are you kidding me? Kristen is so nosy. She'd be like, wait, what are you guys talking about? What kind of surprise?
Yes, 100%. She's not letting that go. She's a dog with a bone.
Okay, so this is when we get an ITM or a confessional of Nia saying that it's really interesting, you know, that they're always talking about my personal life, but we never hear about Janet's personal life.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought, we don't know her kid's name. I know it now because he was in this episode, Cameron, and that's fine if we don't know their kids' names. Like, they can leave their kids out of it. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
I tried to find information about her after this episode because I was curious. She's been married before.
Yep.
And it's actually like kind of hard to find info about her, but she was kind of a troublemaker in high school and got arrested and in trouble for both drinking and weed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like coke or meth, so.
No, I mean, it's not that juicy, but I just thought it was interesting. But
yeah.
But it's true. Like, we don't know really anything about her.
Well, and
besides her quirky things that she tries to like force upon us.
Yeah,
I'm so quirky and nerdy. Like, I don't believe you.
Right. I liked it when I thought it was real.
It's not.
No, I totally agree. I agree. And she's absolutely right. We don't know a lot. And the fact that she's this like defensive and just like livid over the fact that someone said Jason doesn't wear his ring. Like, when that story was first told to her, she laughed it off. Like, that's all it was. Had you just stuck with that attitude about it, just like, it's silly, I can't believe anybody, but it's just like, good God, calm down that people are saying this.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell that is 90% of her anger.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's hard to tell the thing I don't like about some people on reality TV is I want to believe you. I want to believe that you're mad about something. I want to believe that you care about something. If I don't believe you, I don't know how to like take you in. And with her, it's really hard to believe what she's saying sometimes. And so I'm like, I can either trust you that you're being authentic on screen, or I don't trust that you're being authentic on screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, she's annoying. So
Michelle, this is when Michelle accuses Kristen of bringing Jenna around and that's right. And like somehow like telling Jesse that Jenna had dated Aaron and slept with Aaron. And I love that, like, when it goes to the confessional, Zach's like, that was me, this guy right here. Like, not a secret.
Michelle assumes.
Right.
That it was Kristen, which is a semi-fair assumption, but Kristen's turning a leaf. She's going to be a mom soon. She's not, she's trying not to be petty this season.
Yeah, no, I thought Kristen handled that really well. I also think it's like, I don't know. I mean, they talked about this briefly on the after show. Lala brought it up actually, and I thought she was absolutely right. And it's just like, Michelle is so odd about just you're asking your ex-husband, who's not even your ex-husband yet, to be fine on vacation with you and your new boyfriend. You have your daughter around this guy all the time saying I love you to him, and what a great, I just think, I don't know what you expect of any guy.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I know Jesse's bad and I'm not denying that, but
Right.
take a great guy. And it's still what would your expectation be of how that would feel for them and how they would act in this situation? So I think it's so weird to me, the things that she's she's livid that Jesse knows that Jenna slept with Aaron a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it is. It's especially because of how monotone her mood is. I don't know what the word for having a monotone mood is, but she's very flat.
Yeah.
So for that to be the thing that gets her worked up, I think, if I'm being generous, I think that she's probably in the middle of a very traumatic divorce that she probably hoped would never happen, and probably regrets getting married a lot. And nobody's thinking clearly in that.
No, I agree. But also, and I have a friend who may listen sometimes. She'll know it's about her, and it's all right because we've talked about it 100 times. But I have a friend that's a lot like Michelle. When you see on the after show, Michelle talks about the fact that she does not speak to any of her ex-boyfriends.
Oh.
And it is her expectation that her boyfriend never talks to an ex-girlfriend. And she's like, and Jesse knows that about me because I made Jesse stop talking to any girl he ever dated in the past. And I have a friend that's like that. And we talk about it sometimes because my husband and I are friends with quite a few of our exes. And I'm friends with some of his exes. And she's like, I don't understand how you can do that. And I don't know, maybe it's because we're from a small town and we've known each other 30 years, you know, that it's just what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
But to me, from Michelle, to me, it seems insecure to be that rigid about you can never speak to them again. I need them to have not existed. I don't understand
or it
that.
speaks to a trauma or something, a trauma with a lower T, somebody cheating on her, or she cheats on people.
Yeah.
And so she projects that onto other people. There is something going on there, probably. I wouldn't like Zach talking to his exes, and I would probably be like, wait, why are you talking to them out of nowhere 5 years later? That would be very weird to me. You guys are all kind of running in the same circles and stuff. You probably see each other at the grocery store sometimes and stuff. Yes. If I found out that Zach was DMing with one of his ex-girlfriends, I would be like, that is weird. And I'm not really into it.
Yeah.
If he found out that I was DMing one of my exes, he should be worried. I shouldn't be DMing my exes. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're totally
based
right.
on our circumstance.
Right. You guys live I mean, we definitely run into people at the grocery store all the time.
Totally.
If we go out somewhere, we're going to see people that we were in middle school with together. That's just,
exactly.
It's different. So, but I say all that to say that it seems like exes are an insecurity for Michelle. And so Jenna having slept with Aaron and Jesse knowing this, all of this is very upsetting to her to a degree that just seems kind of ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
So, and that's how this whole fight starts.
Yeah. And so Janet brings up the boyfriend for a year thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we see the flashback of Zach. And then Nia is so over Janet. She's so done. And I love to see my queen be like, I'm done with this girl. Yeah. I have a lot of compassion and empathy, but it's not extending as far across the table as to Janet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what she's thinking. So Janet gets in a screaming match with her. Kristen storms out because, or is it Nia that storms out?
No, it's Kristen, but I wouldn't even call it storming out. This is a moment where I was proud of Kristen.
Right.
Is getting.
I mischaracterized that. Yeah. She does not storm out.
She's just this is getting escalated to a place it doesn't need to go, I'm going to go. And I'll tell you what, 10 years ago, Kristen would not have left.
No.
She would have been throwing a drink. And I mean, so I was just, again, I'm like, look at that growth. I love it.
Yeah. And Janet says, be accountable, a word you cannot stand. And then she's like yelling, F you.
Yeah, take your to-go bag and get out of here.
Get out. She's like screaming.
Well, she's drunk.
Yeah.
She's drunk. And
I guess I didn't think about that. She probably is drunk.
I mean, she says it later on in the episode that she, you know, when
that she had too much to drink. I didn't know she was talking about that.
Yeah, that's what she was talking about. Oh. Yeah. And so but again, like, I just find it ironic that, like, you've had way too much to drink and acted a fool, and apparently just think one apology and we just move on, right? Like, that's
right.
What
and we're not going to bring it up again. Water under the bridge, right?
Right. You don't have a drinking problem or anything. It's just total right. So
yeah, it was uncharacteristically humble of her to apologize later, but I thought she was talking about a different time. I didn't know she was talking about that. Yeah. So anyway, they have this huge blow up at lunch, and the other girls are just sitting there like wide-eyed, being like, wait, what just happened? Kind of a thing.
We did not need Sheena for this. Like,
Sheena didn't get her time to really shine in this episode.
And her face looked like she was disappointed. Like, guys, I was going to talk about something.
She had something coming.
Yes, she had a story. She thought about it all morning. They ruined it because it's never about Sheena. Poor thing.
No, it really isn't. Yeah, and that's her burden to bear.
It is.
Yeah, so...
And then Janet says something mean to Nia, like, because Nia starts crying.
Yeah.
And she says it's intense. And I forget exactly what Janet says, but it's something like, it's not here come the tears, but it's always with the tears.
Yes.
And I'm just like, you are so fucking mean.
To Nia.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, could you pick somebody else?
And honestly, everybody at the table looks uncomfortable with Janet. Like, nobody there is like, yeah, you go, girl. Like, they're like, this is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. Yeah, I did. I wrote, even Sheena is quiet.
Yeah. You know it's bad.
Yeah. So we've kind of already talked about this, but it's like, Janet is playing this up.
I think, you know,
and I'm like, does she want to be the villain? And that's why she's doing this, or is she delusional?
Well, I think she's a little delusional. I also think, you know, we know that she was a fan of Vanderpump, and that's how she got to know Sheena, right? So I almost wonder if, like, she's not getting that, like, she's trying to create these, like, intense moments that we used to love on Vanderpump.
Yeah.
But it's not cute when you're approaching 40 or over 40.
And so it's almost we don't buy it.
Right. You're, like, trying to recreate something that's like, this just looks sad.
Yeah. It looks sad, and it's like not that believable, and you're not likable enough to be doing this. Like, at least Stassi is likable.
100%.
And charismatic.
She would have way better quips too.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Janet, if you're listening to this and you heard me say I'm not likable. Okay. I'm not trying to bully you. I'm simply commenting on a reality TV show. Give me a break.
Right.
The character you're playing is not likable. How's that?
You need to talk to producers about the edit that everybody's getting this season.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So are any other comments about this dinner scene or lunch scene, whatever it was?
Nope. Not from that one.
All right. So then we get to the field day.
Let me tell you something. I have decided we are doing this when I get to Texas. Like, literally wrote that down. I'm like, all right, I got to decide which games we're all going to play. Like,
yeah. And we have to take into account that it might be really hot.
Yeah. But we have a pool.
So yeah, we have a pool. Good point. So, that sounds great. I'm really excited. We're all going on a family vacation. Anybody that's listening, we're going on a family vacay because we're sisters-in-law. I don't know if probably people don't know that unless they know us, which everybody that listens probably does know us. But anyway.
And I think we'll be able to record one pod together.
Yes, we should bring our mics.
Yes.
I know it's going to be adorable.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so they go to the field day, and Zach, they ask like who needs to get their aggression out the most, and Zach says Jesse and Jax.
Yeah. Well, I love how he says Jesse, too. It's like the producer doesn't even finish the question. And he's like, Jesse, you don't even need to finish what you were going to. It's Jesse.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the vibe about Jesse, too. Like, when he says that, I'm like, yeah, I think they're, with both of them, with Jesse and with Jax, there's so much anger simmering underneath the surface.
I think more with Jax than with Jesse. But yeah, I agree.
You know, I'm reading a book right now about male depression, and it's really interesting. It's called, I don't want to talk about it, and it's by a marriage and family therapist who I'm reading another book by them. Zach and I are reading it together. It's called Us. Anyway, and I'm reading it thinking every man I know it has depression.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm like reading about the ways that men express their depression and also like the reasons that they feel depressed and the fact that like, you know, I think that it can be a real hit to their ego when life isn't going how they planned it to go and when they thought they did everything right and still it's not going as planned.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So anyway, I think that like they've got some mental health things to work through, including depression. And if they could work through that, then because a lot of times men express depression as anger. That was sort of my point.
Yeah.
And it comes out as anger and rage because those are the feelings they're allowed to feel.
Yeah.
So then Zach says that Jax uses tanning beds. I thought they just all got spray tans. Do you use tanning beds?
Do you want me to say no? I mean, I don't right now because I'm at the pool every damn day. But in the winter, sometimes, yeah.
You're going to get skin cancer.
Lauren, something's taking me out.
That's not the right attitude to have.
All right, listen, I already get this from Martha every year, and I'm sorry.
Okay, well then I won't say my mean comments about tanning beds, but I just...
Maybe I should focus on quitting smoking before, like, you know, you have to, like, pick some battles here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
We'll just move on.
But I am not right now. This is not at all from a tanning bed. This is...
Yeah, your luminous glow. You have swimsuit lines. So everybody just back the fuck off.
Exactly. This is all courtesy of my 7-year-old making me go to the pool every single day.
Yeah, bright and early.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even warm yet.
Okay, well, that's a lie because I know it's like 90 degrees at night there. So,
well, I'm just saying, it's like the sun is barely peeking up over the horizon.
Yeah,
and
it's
she's
not
like,
light yet.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and I'm like, good God.
Well, I was just thinking, I wrote because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Jax goes in tanning beds, but I can't. But it's like, okay. Did you see that picture of RFK Jr. leaving the tanning bed?
No.
Yeah.
God.
And that man tans.
No, all right. See, my goal is always like if I do go during the winter, it's usually like once a month for 4 minutes in the stand up. Like I'm just trying to not look pasty pale.
I think listen, I don't know about how much tanning you need to do in order for it to be bad for you. I used to tan when I was a teenager because everybody did. And my dad was like, you're going to get skin cancer. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I want to be tan. I'm 16 and that's all I care about. So, you know, as an adult, I don't do that anymore. Mostly because I'm vain and I don't want to get wrinkles. But anyway, RFK Jr. leaving the tanning bed really made me laugh as our head of health in this country. You know, you're not over here claiming that tanning beds are good for you. You're just saying, you know, I have to factor my priorities, and my priority of looking not pasty is above my priority of living a long life. Okay.
Well, and that guy is clearly not going once a month for 4 minutes.
No. That man, he's got a standing appointment. He's got one of those memberships.
Right. This is just, my gym has them. And occasionally I'll come in and say, yes, today I will use that for a few minutes. And then,
all right. Leave a comment, y'all, if you go to tanning beds, because maybe I just live in a bubble of like people that are paranoid about the sun.
Yeah, and don't like shame me.
No. Only leave a comment if you go.
Yeah.
If you don't go, keep your trappers shut.
Exactly. This is why you run the social media.
Yeah, by run you mean log in every once in a while to see if we have any new followers. Got it.
Exactly. But anyways, he uses it and it makes him look like an angry chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's, you know, all the filler and the Botox that he gets in his face, he's going to look so old.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess he'll have to deal with that when he comes. So then Janet tries to be quirky again, talking about how she didn't do sports when she was in high school. She did magic lessons.
This was the first time that I clocked the fake quirkiness. Like that was what I wrote down was like, it's when I thought the metal detector was fun.
You know what I think? I
What?
think she whipped out that metal detector because of the joke about the ring. And she knew that she could be like, she could make jokes about him losing his ring on the beach with that metal detector. I bet you that it was all part of a planned bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. I
Anyway,
totally
keep
agree.
going. And you love the Dave and Buster's.
I
I love
love the
Dave and
Dave and Buster's.
Buster's.
That looks like a fun time. Like, I'm like, yes, that I would enjoy that afternoon. Like,
Yeah.
I am like a mini golf, bowling,
Yeah.
arcade. I like that, you
I love
know?
skee ball.
She has like chat GPT'd how to be endearing and taken it way too far.
Yeah. And her chat GPT is not trained very well.
No. Well, because it can't change like the essence of who she is.
Right.
So it's like these are like quirky, fun things, but it's forgetting to tell her you also have to stop being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that the girl that got in trouble with a DUI and marijuana in high school didn't, or like did magic and was quirky.
No.
So those are my mean things I have to say about Janet.
Fair enough.
Okay, so then Jesse says that he's competing to get out of the bed in the morning without having to crack something. I think he means a beer.
Oh, I didn't
He
even
says that
catch
in a confessional.
Okay.
He's like, I'm just trying to compete to get out of the bed in the morning. He says I used to be competitive. That's what he says.
Okay.
And that is when I'm thinking like, oh, he's depressed.
Yeah.
He's trying to be kind of self-deprecating and funny here, which I actually did find it likable, but he's depressed.
Well, I'm sure also his girlfriend doesn't want to film, right? And so he's constantly got to deal with watching Michelle with her boyfriend while he doesn't get to have his girlfriend there. And
yeah, and his life is not going as planned, and he's
Right.
broke, and he's trying to keep up this appearance of being somebody that he can't be right now. And he's got a lot of anger and rage and disappointment, I think, that he has to deal with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So then we get this scene of like Janet and Britt talking, and
I like Britt's hair.
so cute. Yeah.
So adorable.
I know. And I just wrote like, basically, Janet is bitter. That was my moral of the story of this conversation. Like, they're talking about how, like, what the things that Janet is upset about. And I'm like, she's just bitter.
Yeah, again, I can't tell how much of it's real. So it's hard because I'm like, are you really upset or are you just like trying to make a show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like I really get irritated if I feel like anybody on reality TV is trying to produce the episodes.
Yeah, totally. And like, Jason, for instance, comes off as really authentic.
Right. And like, I feel bad for the guy because I'm like, God, this woman is just snowing you. Like, you actually think that this is worth being upset about or that you're allowed to, like, because.
Yeah, like maybe you are kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like,
I mean, you can't get through law school and be dumb, can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I've known some exceptionally not well-informed attorneys.
Yeah. All right. Well, Janet's unlikable. She continues to be unlikable. All right. So next we get to Luke bringing his gecko to Kyle's. And this is when I thought, oh, she definitely knows.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, she's tracking my location. Go ahead.
Honey, can you come here real quick, babe? I'll wait till he comes back. When he comes back, hopefully it'll be in a second. I just want to, because Luke had his sunglasses in this episode.
And are they the same ones that Travis has?
They're not the same. I think you're going to hate Travis even more.
No, but Travis is exactly who I would picture wearing those sunglasses too. Yeah. It's like, yeah, a different kind of guy than I'm usually into. We'll just put it at that. Yeah. Listen, I'm not into Trav. I'm sorry. I know that you wanted to have some sort of like weird, twisted sister-in-law fantasy thing, and that's just not what I'm going for here.
Shucks.
Yeah. Okay, so Luke's at Kyle's jewelry shop, and I'm like, Luke, if you want her to not be suspicious, you guys should have met at a neutral location, not the jewelry shop.
Well, only, yes, but we don't, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that this is where he's dropped off the gecko several times before. Because he says that he always watches the gecko when he goes out of town.
I know. I hope that that's the case. I hope that he always drops the gecko off at the jewelry shop. Maybe Kyle lives at the jewelry shop. But.
I mean, he is one dedicated, I read this article about him that was just like, he has worked his ass off to get where he is.
Good. I'm glad. I don't mind him.
No, I don't either.
I feel like it was really unfortunate that he was associated with Sandoval during Sandoval's downfall.
Yeah,
And I think that like he's probably decent and he seems to be at everything. I'm surprised he's not a cast member.
I know. I love him.
Yeah. Um, okay, so that's my only comments about this. Any other thoughts?
No, just the sunglasses, and I'll show them to you at some point.
Yeah. For anybody listening, in a previous episode, I was dogging on Luke's sunglasses because they're just so country and like, are they country? Is that what the word you would use?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I think so, probably. Like, just
Like people that
very,
like to go fishing wear them.
yeah,
Like I'm not really into that.
like people that are like outdoorsy and like,
Yeah, like no. Nothing.
yeah. I would definitely say like my husband's happiest like out on a kayak in the river. Like, you know, all of his friends, like that whole group, they call each other the river rats. He's got a tattoo with like a backwards R with a forward R for
Oh,
river rats.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like,
Cute.
you know, what he's all about. So,
Yeah, and I love Trav. I don't want anybody listening to think I don't love him.
oh, he knows that.
Yeah.
He knows that. And that's the kind of man I like. So,
Country. Okay. So then we get to Jason and Janet's, and Janet says she's being gaslit by Nia. And I just want to take a moment to talk about how I'm tired of this word, just like triggered, being used in contexts that it's not correct in. Just because somebody is upsetting you doesn't mean they're gaslighting you. I want everybody to know gaslighting is a strategic, manipulative effort to make somebody doubt their own reality. It is done over time. It is done in the context of emotional abuse. It's intentional. The person has to intentionally be doing it to you. If they're not intentionally doing it to you, like as a way to manipulate you, then it's not gaslighting. You can say they lie.
yeah, but I don't think, because I have somebody in my life that I don't deal with this anymore from them, but I used to until some very clear boundaries were put up. And I don't think that they necessarily know that they're trying to distort your reality, or I don't know that they actually know that.
Your friend.
Yeah.
Then that wouldn't be gaslighting.
You don't think?
No, because gaslighting is like a specific, we should ask ChatGPT, but from what I understand, gaslighting is like specifically, it's actually based off of a movie.
Right.
That in which the person strategically and manipulatively tries to make you doubt your own reality and make you think that you're crazy for reacting the way that you do.
Right.
If somebody is just like seeing that modeled for them, or like if they don't realize that that's what they're doing, then it wouldn't exactly be gaslighting. Gaslighting is intentional.
Yeah.
Is she intentionally trying to make you think?
Well, it's a guy.
Oh, he. And of course it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to misgender.
Right. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely just like once I was able to step back and see it, which took a long time. Then I could see like there's no universe where you thought what you were saying was the reality of what was going on. Like there's just no way like that, you know, but it took a long time for me to see what was going on and realize that I was not crazy. So yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, you feeling crazy is a key word there. Like Janet doesn't feel crazy in this moment.
No,
she's not doubting her own reality.
No.
She just thinks that Nia is being facetious.
Yeah.
That Nia isn't telling the whole truth.
Right.
That is not the same thing as gaslighting.
Or that Nia, I think she's mistaking it with trying to get a reaction, is what I think she thinks is what's going on. I think she thinks Nia is trying to get a reaction out of her, is trying to get her worked up, is trying to, that's not gaslighting you.
Yeah, it's not gaslighting. Okay, so then we get to Luke and Kristen's house, and I just think that they have such a beautiful but modest home compared to all their friends. And you know that Kristen's been on reality TV a long time, and she's been good with her money, although she keeps dating men who don't have any, so maybe she's given it all away. But from what I can tell, she's responsible with her money, and I'm just really impressed that they went for something modest. I mean, I'm sure that was like a $1 million house, but like,
well, and they're renting it.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, she talked about that on the episode when they were moving in.
Oh, I thought they bought it.
No, she says it's just a rental for now.
Okay.
So, but I think like I think it's just further indicator of, honey, can I see your sunglasses real quick? I think it's further indicator of how great Luke is for her. because I think if she was with somebody
Yeah.
else
Yeah.
that
That
she
cared
could,
about that was like
yes,
vain and yeah.
that could talk her in. Like, I think she's fine living in this cute house. But if a guy made her feel like he'd only stay, she would probably do something not smart.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the things I just love about Luke is I think he is like that. I like that she said, like, if you spent more than this much on the ring, I would kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I said that to my husband when we got engaged. I'm like, I
Oh
would
yeah.
kill you if you, like, don't do that to us.
Yeah, your money is my money now, bitch.
Exactly. Yeah, hold on. These are Chaffs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Those are the sunglasses.
Is that about what you were expecting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just need one of those things that like goes around the neck.
Oh, they just need one of those things that goes around the neck, she says. No, he just loses them. We're on like pair 25. Luke wore some sunglasses that she really liked and thought that you would probably like, and they look a lot like that.
So funny. Okay, so yeah, so we're at Luke and Kristen's and they're having a drink. And Kristen asks if what she should wear for the trip, and he gets so awkward. Did you catch this? And he's like, "Oh my god," because she asked what she should wear fishing.
Right, because he knows he's going to do it on the boat.
Yeah, and so he gets so awkward, and he's like, well, not making eye contact. Nia said that you guys were just going to take pictures and look cute. And she goes, oh, okay, so just dress, like, bring the cute things, okay.
Yeah, she knows. Yeah.
I do think she's surprised that when it happens, based off of the picture, or the videos that we've seen of the proposal, I think she's surprised that it's happening in that moment.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I didn't want to do any digging, because I didn't want to know. I wanted it to be a surprise. Yeah. I wanted to let him have that. So I wasn't like trying to find out, but I was actually so sure he wasn't going to do it on that trip, because he did what Luke did. He made it so that Amy and Connor were planning the trip.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So I almost felt like I was having to remind him that the trip was even happening.
Yeah. And meanwhile,
that's actually really funny.
He knew.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah, so then Jax is at lunch, trying to meet up with Brittany.
Yeah,
and he gets there and he orders a coffee and a Diet Coke.
Mm-hmm. My favorite order, personally.
Yeah, I cannot dog on that order.
That's a
good order. You need some hot and something cold on the ice.
Perfect.
Bubbly. You're like, speaking of, I'm gonna have a little sip of my Diet Coke.
Yep.
Because I know that's not water.
Nope.
No. And he says that, and then I was just like, his new favorite phrase is that he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
He says that so much.
Yeah, and then sometimes he, like, the next sentence he says is not related to that phrase.
Right. I don't think he really knows what it means.
Right.
He uses it in the wrong context a lot, just to basically mean like, I don't have any room to talk. That's what he means to say.
Right.
But he says, I don't have a leg to stand on. And so he's waiting for Brittany to arrive. And we find out that he hasn't seen Cruz yet.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he's been home at this point, but we find out that he hasn't seen Cruz yet. And he calls Brittany to see where she is. And she announces in this moment,
she's not coming.
She's not coming. And I think to myself, these people need an in-between person, because that is not okay.
And she did that on purpose. She said in the after show that she decided to purposely stand him up and have him go and be sitting there and her not come.
Yeah, and so she's punishing him for behaving badly. And I understand why she's mad. I understand. I would be mad too. He was definitely drunk.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that he was drunk, that he was out drunk the night before. I believe that, even though he denies it.
Well, and it's all so new and fresh as far as like him being out of rehab and what's going on. And I just say that to say that it's easy to, what do they call that? The Monday morning quarterback, where you can look at it and be like, they need somebody like in the in-between. That wasn't the right way to handle that. That wasn't, but it's just kind of like what you and I were talking about before we even started recording today, where there was like a situation with a co-parent and whatever. And it's like, I am 15 years into this and I still sometimes have to like check myself and make sure I'm like behaving and the healthy and,
Yeah.
these are
That you're
hard
not being vindictive just to get back
Yeah.
at somebody because you're
Right.
mad. Yeah.
Right. Because it is like, it just brings out this side of you. And
Yeah.
so I can't judge her that harshly. I think it was totally the wrong thing to do. Totally. It doesn't help anything. But again, they're so in the thick of it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to see that.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's just like seeing it on the outside. It's like, this is the last thing that, listen, you know how Jax is. And I know you've spent your whole marriage tiptoeing around shit, but like at this point now, you just need to move forward with as healthy a relationship as you can have. And that means that unfortunately, you're going to have to be the bigger person because somebody has to be.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like what you just said. It's like she's tiptoed the entire marriage. And
so
now,
now she's like, yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say all the fucking things. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to make fun of you.
I'm going to humiliate you just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because she feels like she's been humiliated by him for so long about so many things.
And she has. He has humiliated her.
Yeah. But
purposely.
The problem is that you guys have a kid.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to figure out a different way.
Yeah, and I think that we've had these nuanced conversations about how Brittany is a victim and how we need to believe victims. We need to like not blame them, But to get even more nuanced about it, I also think Brittany needs to take some accountability now.
Yeah, well, definitely now, like, because this is your side of the street now.
Yeah.
And,
and it's time for you to start behaving well.
Yeah, or just be quiet. Like, you're still saying things on the podcast. You're still like, you don't always need to, like, how much more would we look up to her if, it was like, well, Jack said this on his podcast and you just said, I know the truth and there's nothing else to say.
Well, yeah. And I think like at this point, everybody knows that he lies about everything.
Yes.
So we're not taking him for his word anymore. And it's almost impossible for him to make you look bad at this point. So just like allow yourself, give yourself peace.
Yeah.
To move on.
You still seem very wrapped in the dynamic right now.
And she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course she is. I mean, like if we were in it, we would be too. But it's from the outside looking in. If I were her therapist, I would be like, we got to find some better ways healthier ways to deal with this.
Yeah.
And he's embarrassed. And that having the ability to be embarrassed and say that is vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I just have to call that out.
I know. I actually like felt for him in that moment. I really did. When he was like, well, that's embarrassing. Like, I just was like, I don't love this moment for you.
I know. Yeah.
It was just like unnecessarily cruel.
Yeah.
Like she could have texted
He's
him.
not going to change the day he gets out of rehab.
No, and she could have texted him, I have been getting DMs and I feel like you were out drinking last night and I'm pissed and I'm not going.
Yeah. Yeah, say you're pissed. You're allowed to be pissed.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're suddenly in Maui. Yep. We sort of arrive in Maui.
Yep.
Usually you see them packing a little. I guess I just didn't realize it was going to happen in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So they arrive in Maui and they get in the car and I was so angry that I made the same mistake Janet did. Cause I'm like, I don't want to be like her. But I really thought it was an actual pineapple as well. And I'm like, people are going on cruises and just bringing a pineapple to like put in front of their door. This is so weird. I didn't know this was a thing.
That's funny.
Zach's like a picture of a pineapple.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So one thing I thought is because Benji and Zach get upgraded.
Yeah, and I thought that I was on their side. When Luke said, why wouldn't you just give us the upgrade? I was like, no, not Luke. Zach's absolutely right. Yeah, Luke said it, but I was like, Zach's right to not give you the upgrade right this second. It would have, that would have been it.
Yeah, Luke isn't like thinking, this is, again, why he's not good at secret keeping.
Yeah.
Like, he's not good at secret keeping.
Yeah.
Zach knows.
Yeah. And he's been friends with Kristen a long time. Like, he knows, like, listen, we cannot leave a trace.
Yeah, like, why would you be giving us the upgrade? That's weird.
Yep.
But what I thought is, I don't really know how upgrades work because I'm not rich, but I think that a lot of times when you get upgraded, it's either because you're celebrating something, or you have like points with that hotel chain. And that's when I'm like, oh, Benji's rich.
Oh,
He
maybe.
is a doctor.
Is he really? What
He's
kind
an
of doctor?
ophthalmologist, I think, or some
Wow.
sort of eye doctor of some sort.
Okay. Okay.
I think he said it on the podcast, maybe. I don't know
Oh.
where I heard that, but he is a doctor. And I'm thinking, oh, Benji's rich. They put this on his card or something, or like this is a hotel chain he goes to a lot or something, because you don't just randomly get upgraded. There has to be
Yeah.
a reason for it. And they're not celebrating anything as far as I know,
Yeah.
except being gay lovers.
Yeah. And Lisa
Which we love.
Vanderpump didn't call ahead. So,
Right.
yeah,
No LVP to swoop in and give you the penthouse.
exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm just loving Zach more and more. I'm finding him more and more likable. He seems like a really, really, really good friend.
Yeah, I agree. I think,
And honestly,
and I wonder if like you think about this entire season, this is what I'm talking about. When I say what worries me about Danny is that if I had an incident, you'd only have to like bring it up one time for me to never do it around the cameras again. Whatever happened with Zach last season and what he said to Janet, I have not seen him sloppy drunk in one episode.
and now knowing what I know about Janet.
No, it's still not okay. You can't say that.
No, you can't say that. But I understand how disliked she is now.
Yeah.
And I think that like the context of this season has given me more of an idea of like where that was coming from. Like, it's not like Zach said that about a friend. He's not friends with her.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have said it, but he's
No.
not friends with her.
No. And I understand too, like, just on one hand, I can count the number of people that I've interacted with in my life that can push me to a place of saying things that I'm like, that was absolutely atrocious. I should not have said that. I am so sorry. But there, there's a couple people that know exactly what to say. And I think Janet could be that person for Zach.
100%.
Picks and picks.
Yeah. Janet finds a weakness.
She is a fucking gaslighter. I guarantee it.
Yes. Yeah. She thinks she's orchestrating everything. And it's just like actually funny to watch her downfall. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I know that's me.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
sorry,
and
Janet,
I know
if
that
you're listening.
she does listen to podcasts and reads the comments. Like I've read enough and to her some of the podcasts she's been on and interviews that she's done that she does take to heart. Like, she's like, some of the comments are really mean and it's hard. And,
listen,
like,
Janet, if you're listening, take like what works and leave what doesn't. Like, people don't know what they're talking about. But if you're getting enough feedback about something about your personality and you really sit with that and allow it to sink in and decide whether it's true about yourself or not, or ask the people that really love you, is this true about me? And it is, then you have some work to do.
Right. I think that's, you have to separate your behavior from like your soul of who you are. Like there's a thing that you're doing that needs work. You are not a horrible person.
Right.
Like you just need to figure out, you can be on the show without trying to produce it. That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might find there's a story there. Maybe Jason does take off his wedding ring. Could be fun. Let's find out.
All right, so we're in the last couple of scenes here. So Michelle and Aaron, I'm like annoyed that Aaron's on this trip. I don't think he should be here.
I
we
agree.
don't really know him. Maybe they wanted him there because they wanted to set up the storyline of Jesse and Aaron like having a conflict.
She wanted him there. I think
But
she
wanted him there.
And
yeah, and I just don't like that.
No, I don't either. Stop forcing him on me.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. Be happy if you're happy. Like Jesse's always saying like, if you're happy, be happy. And like, I'm sort of like, yeah, I guess he's right.
Yeah. It does seem like it's like purposely being shoved in his face.
Yeah. The first nice relationship that you get in after you've been in a toxic one, it always does feel like you're on a cloud because you're like, oh my God, people can treat each other with kindness and respect. I forgot about this. And so I'm sure she is like very wrapped up in all of that. But yeah, it feels like Aaron is nervous to be there. I don't really think he wants to be there. He's like, why? I don't know these people.
And it's kind of odd that they're like already in counseling. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she should have just like taken a beat.
Yeah. So they share some champagne and then we get to the pool and Britt walks in. Any thoughts?
I think, is she wearing like a bathing suit with a skirt thing or something?
She's wearing, I think, a bathing suit with a cover up. The
Okay.
cover up is not only skin tight,
Ah.
but it has huge cutouts in the front.
Why does she do this?
She looks so bad.
And it's like I said to you, in the confessional where she's wearing that one dress, you know, where it's like, it's a higher top, like
Yeah, and it
the,
goes on the shoulders.
yes, yep. And that,
It's
and
not the one she was wearing. There's like a sunflower one that she's wearing, and
no,
I'm like,
you
it's
can't
too
see,
tight on you.
can't see any cleavage in this dress that she's wearing in the confessional. It comes up really high on the shoulders. It has a very flowy skirt. Her legs look gorgeous.
Yeah, she looks great in that dress.
Yes, amazing.
Off the shoulder,
phenomenal.
looks good on her.
Yes.
And I was thinking when I saw Brittany in the sunflowery one, I'm like, do you know who dresses for their body is Nia?
Yes.
Like, Nia's gorgeous, but I almost don't even know what her body looks like because she wears such flattering outfits that I actually can't even really tell what she must look like underneath there. But she always looks really good. And I don't think she's stick skinny. She's just had 3 kids.
Yeah. It's so tough because it's like, look, if the thing Brittany's wearing, if it makes her feel confident and beautiful, I think where I struggle is that I don't, as somebody who's not stick skinny, I know how I sit and how I move when I'm feeling self-conscious about a part of my body.
Yeah.
And I see Brittany do that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, where she's wearing a dress or whatever, and the way she wants to fold her arms or find something to put in front of her, or it feels like you're not comfortable in that.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, maybe that's not the one. And just because your boobs are huge, girl, I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you always have to like pick an outfit once in a while that just, you know, but you don't need to. So she does say she wants to get a reduction. Yeah. She said they got even bigger after she had her son. And so it is part of her plan to get a reduction. And she actually said that she's so sick of people commenting about it because she's like, I think that you guys don't all take into account the downtime that requires. And like, as far as the recovery.
Of course. Everybody is like very black and white thinking, and we're like, get them out already. And it's like, yeah.
Right. She's trying to figure out, like, how do I do this at the right time with Cruz and just all
now that I'm basically a single parent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yes, she could definitely like listen to a stylist because she's beautiful. She is absolutely beautiful. There are certain moments where I am just like, I'm telling you.
I agree. So then we get Danny, Janet, Nia having a chat, and I immediately went online to find Nia's swimsuit.
I immediately went online to find her hat.
Her hat too.
I loved her hat.
Yeah, and I used to have one like that, and I got rid of it. And now I'm like annoyed that I want one again. I didn't ever wear it because it wasn't really in style. But then when I saw it on her, I was like, oh, it's really cute.
Yes.
I got mine at Target, I think.
I was thinking, like, look at my face. We're going to be at the pool every day. So
totally.
I'm like, I have to find this. I love it.
Yeah, it's so cute. And her swimsuit is sold out. So I'm going to peruse the website and see if I can find another one I like because I've been wanting a tie-dye swimsuit forever. Yeah. I haven't had a new swimsuit in like 5 or 6 years. And my C-section scar like rubs against. And so I think like I can justify getting a new one. So I'll probably
100%. Yeah.
Anyway, Janet apologizes and said she had too much to drink. And then Nia goes, that early in the night?
Yeah. 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 That was good.
Now, get her.
I want you, when we're done, I want you to watch the scene again. And I want you to listen to the confessional right there. I don't know what it was. And I think I figured it out. But as she was talking, I'm like, fuck, that sounds like Raquel. And I almost think maybe it's the pageant thing.
Who sounds like Raquel? Nia?
Nia. And her confessional, like it sounded like Rachel's voice and like the tone and the inflection. It was just like, I don't know how else to describe it. It was so close.
Okay, I'll go back and listen.
And so then I was like, I wonder if it's a pageant thing.
Yeah.
Like this performance way that we talk. Like it was a little, you know, I'm like, maybe that's what it is. Because I don't get any kind of like manipulative shitty vibe off of Nia. It's not like that.
No. Like, just like the tone and the way she speaks.
Yeah.
They might also be from the same part of California.
Yeah, that's true.
So then Jesse says that he would expect a man to call him up and say, like, I'm spending a lot of time with your daughter. Do you have any boundaries? And I'm like, no, bud.
That never would happen ever. None of it in all of our co-parenting situations. There's never been a point in time where anybody has like called up and said, what are the boundaries? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. But
You expect the parent, like, yeah,
yes,
you should be expecting
Michelle
to say, are the boundaries? You know, my daughter should never call you dad. She should, you know, she's got a dad. Like, there are things that you establish.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was curious about your take, so I'm glad that we're on the same page because I was like, I don't know if I have the wrong take here as somebody who has never had to co-parent, but okay. So then Luke wants to pull Kristen and she can tell something is off. And she's like, did I do something wrong? Like, what's going on?
I know. And she's like, usually Luke is such a good communicator. It must be about his grandma, you know? And I know. I'm just like, I just love you two together.
Yeah.
So I'm just really hoping that like Kristen doesn't like start thinking he is like, just don't blow it up, Kristen. Don't blow it up.
Yeah. Like, don't get in a huge fight before this.
Right. Like one of the girls is going to have to pull her aside and ruin it if she starts doing that. Like,
yeah, luckily she has really good friends this time around that really care about her. And she's less volatile in general, I think. So easier to be around.
Yeah, I think Nia would for sure jump right, especially for how much Kristen has rode for her this season. Yeah. I think Nia would grab her and be like, okay, nope. Can't do this. You got to trust me. And
Nia knows how to de-escalate a situation too.
Yes, she does.
You know what I was just thinking too is like Kristen back in the day when she was really, really volatile and consumed by her like romantic relationships and things like that. She reminds me a lot of Huda and how as a friend, she's exhausting. Yeah. And now she's not like that anymore. But back then it's like, that's that borderline personality thing where it's like, they're so exhausting because you're constantly having to like talk them off the ledge.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I think it's exceptional that she has gotten to where she is.
I totally agree.
Because there are a lot of people that just stay stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Kristen was very, very, very high functioning and responsible and stuff. And I think that helped her get out of that cycle.
Yeah.
And probably she's on meds, I would assume.
Well, and probably, you know, maybe getting fired from VPR and having to like figure some shit out. It might have been right, you know, and also, I'm sorry, but what happened with Ariana and Tom Sandoval, like, I think for a long time, she felt like the villain in that story. And
now we all know who the real villain is.
Exactly. That's a good, and it happened with James Kennedy. Like, if I'm her, I am like, I fucking told you.
Totally.
Like, you know?
Vindicated, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we kind of get this like, oh, first of all, we see Zach and Benji being cute and taking a shower together, which was just like really funny. I'm like, it would be so fun to be a homosexual because you get to hang out with the gender that you get along with best.
Yeah.
But in a romantic way as well. Like, I wish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heterosexual is not the way we were meant to be. I'm sorry. God did not intend us to be this way. It is too hard.
I mean, I think like, it's probably just meant to like reproduce with them, but you hang out with, you know.
Yeah.
Probably how it was meant to be.
Yeah. So then we kind of get this ending scene. Like Jesse's worried about the cheating and he says that Michelle admitted to cheating on him and he just like wants to sit down with Aaron and get the truth out of him basically. And that's kind of where we drop off.
Which again, like, let's just, I hate that it should be continued because like if you just step back, how would your life change and be better if Aaron says, yeah, no, we did cross those lines?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I heard it now, finally.
Right. You feel better?
Yeah. Okay. So now do you want to hear my big reveal?
Yeah.
I've changed my mind about Jax. I think he should stay on our TV screens.
Why?
Well, I absorbed some other opinions and I've been mulling it over. And I think Jax having an income and a job and having TV screens on, having cameras around, I think that keeps Brittany safe. I think him having a job keeps Brittany safe. And I think that him having an income keeps Brittany safe. My only caveat to that is if Brittany were to say, I want him gone, that's when I would agree with that. I think it's basically like whatever Brittany wants, I agree with. And I think at this point in time, what he needs is some sense of stability.
I agree. I like it. I like it.
Great.
And
We're on the same page.
I'm the same as you. If Brittany says no, then I'm like, that's up to her. Although, again, like, I want to see her start figuring some things out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get there soon. Hopefully she's more. I mean, this week on the podcast, she once again like corrected Jack's lying about something, but apparently he only lied about one thing on What Happens Live.
Yeah, it did
And
seem like,
in my mind, it wasn't a lie. It was just a misunderstanding of
Yeah.
what he said. Did
Yeah.
you agree?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious. I'm going to be watching the news because we should know they should start filming like this week or next week because they
Oh my
always start
gosh.
at the end of June
Oh my
or the first week
gosh.
of July. So we'll know if they got picked up for a third season. We'll know if Jax is still
Oh, they're
there.
definitely getting a third season.
Oh, for sure. For
It's
sure.
just
But I'm
who's gonna be
curious
on
what
it.
what's going to be the cast shakeup.
Yeah.
We'll
All
find
right.
out.
Well, I guess that's the end of this app. We will see you guys next week. We do 2 episodes a week. One's a politics podcast and one's a Valley recap, but we might be shaking up that format because we are a little fatigued from
Yep.
the politics stuff. We want to bring up the stuff that is the most important and the things we can take action on. But honestly, the next 4 years, the next 3.5 years are going to be tough to get through. It's a marathon. And so we're going to kind of probably slow down a little bit on the content on politics.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you know when there's something that you can do, something you need to know, but we want you to also be able to come and have fun and escape.
Yeah, totally.
So,
all right. Well, I love ya.
Love you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.